What's up, everybody? We are back. Special hello to Damien Hair Metal, first guy to post today. So, what's going on, Damien?
Isn't he in the UK?
I believe he is. Damien, where are you from? Let us know. And yes, Springfield mentioned Rush. Yep, that's one of the things we're going to talk about a little bit today. But first, we're going to get into our normal shout outs and our kindergarten show and tell kind of stuff that we like to do. And George G's Room of Rock, what's going on? Sam Steele. Yeah, he's from England. Right on.
Yep. All right. Thank you.
Cool. So let's get right into it. Shout outs. You got anything, Steve? You've not been here for a couple weeks.
Let's do it.
Right on. Kev, you got anything you want to show, say, do?
Just a couple albums here. Finally got the new Dead Heat.
Yeah, right here.
Haven't heard it. Got it last night, and then
great crossover thrash metal band.
And this finally came too.
And mine came too. I ordered the same one as you did. I didn't order the autograph copy.
No, I didn't. Not for that price.
It was like $30 for the regular copy, $75 for the autograph copy, and I'm like, I've met Nugent enough times.
These corporate honks trying to steal our money. Oh, wait, sorry.
Jumping the gun.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. So anyhow, anything else, Kev?
No, that's about all I have.
I got a couple more. I finally got a copy of the new Accuser on vinyl, but it's not from the one I pre-ordered from the record company, who are now ignoring me and not returning my calls and my emails, nor giving my money back. I found a seller online and paid premium for it, but I love Accuser, so I grabbed it. And I also got this little gem. Well, these two little gems. This one has really been hard to find, but this is the Jacob's Dream demo years, the early stuff. I love this band, man. Especially that early stuff, which is so freaking good. Very epic, heavy metal, kind of like Sirithungul, it's just got that kind of epicness to it, You guys know this band, right?
Yep.
And then anyhow, I got it from the band directly. So it's John Barry, or I think his name is Franken Barry on Facebook. If anybody's looking for a copy, he has a bunch for sale if you're interested in the demo album.
I got one more after yours. If you got one more to show.
That's fine. Osric Tentacle.
Oh, wow.
Become the other.
A really good one.
I got this one super cheap because it's got a little defect right there. I don't know if you can see it or not, but basically it's just a little tear in the plastic and a little teeny weeny bend in the vinyl. But for the under $20 I paid for it, I don't care.
Is it colored vinyl? I know it's 180 gram, but
let's just find that out.
Yeah.
I haven't even heard it yet because it's literally.
I know and the remasters sound incredible. Ed does that himself, so Ed Wynn, that is.
Let's see. Looks like it's red. Nope, it's black.
Okay. Well,
black vinyl.
All right.
None more black. What you got, Kev?
Well, the one here I came across is kind of odd. Annihilator. It's kind of what it is. It's all demos from like 85 through 88. And I knew of the stuff, but I, never seen any of it. And it's just plain, nothing there. No label. Doesn't have hardly no liner notes whatsoever.
Is that the Jeff Waters Annihilator, or is it something else?
Yeah.
That's what I asked. First thing I asked. Yep.
It's. I've never seen it. Picked it up about a week ago online here. I had to get it. It's an odd one.
A lot of people checking in. We got
Tony
Clem, Tip Fan, Metal Ben, 666 Ray Star. Lots of people checking in. Appreciate you guys watching and hanging out with us. So, I think the only person we got left is you, John. So you might as well just get right into right into your favorite portion of the day. It's time for.
All right, pick of the week. So I've been renovating my record room, and shout out to
man, I missed it. Say it again.
I said I've been renovating.
I know, but you said say pick of the week.
Pick of the week.
There you go.
So I've been renovating my record room and consolidating equipment. So shout out to County Line for helping me do that. And we traded for some really, really, I think it's beneficial for both parties. But as I've been doing it, I've been listening to music, and I've sort of, I pulled out the Frank Marino box set, the one that was most recent, I think what was 3 years ago. And of all those live shows from Cleveland. And I've been on a Frank Marino bender here. So my rock pick of the week is Mahogany Rush #4, and this has got some really just some wild stuff on it. It's got rock, and Moonwalk has got this jazzy breakdown that I've played on my Carcass John's Alter Ego show, because it could be anything. But anyway, great record. I think everyone needs the first. I don't know. I think everybody needs to own just whatever Frank Marino put out. I don't think he ever put out a really bad record.
Have a bad release.
No, he did not. He did not put out a bad record.
In fact, I listened to Juggernaut. I listened to what's the one with the dragster on the front, where they're working on the dragster. I can't remember what that was, but anyway. But this one is my favorite, so I pulled this one out, and yes, it's signed by Frank Marino, and I've had the good fortune to see him several times.
That's the one where he started to get his own sound. Prior to that, he was still doing the Jimi Hendrix thing, and that's
a lot of Hendrix worship. Some of those Maxim and Vavoom and all those. But man, I love 4. It's iconic.
Is Dragonfly on that album?
Dragonfly's on that record, yes.
Yeah.
So my metal pick of the week, because when I wasn't listening to Frank Marino, I pulled out the entire Carcass. What? No,
just kidding.
Pulled out the entire Carcass collection, and yes, I know it may not be completely metal to have multiple copies. Oh, that's by far my favorite is Necroticism, Descanting the Insalubrious, but I've already touted that one. So this is Torn Arteries. This is their most recent, and I have it on green splatter, red splatter, black splatter, and whatever, because I roll that. That's the way I roll in my metal stuff. But I think this is a great record. Heavy riffing. They introduced solos again. There's a lot of trade-off soloing. Bill Steer, who I met on the Headbangers boat last Halloween, is really great. Great guy and just a really good player. But anyway, I really have grown to really dig this record, and I think everybody should have it in their collection. All colors of vinyl, by the way, and as a tribute to one of our listeners out there.
You got a request. You got a question here about
the box set.
I've brought because as much as I hate to pander to the corporate bosses, I bought the 7-piece set of Carcass Torn Arteries, and look, it includes a fork, a knife, a spoon, a plate with the Torn Arteries logo. Also there is let's see, I can't remember there what's all in here. There's a vinyl, a CD copy.
I gave into the corporate greed too. Look at that.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that is corporate greed. But anyway, there's the vinyl, there's a CD, there's a book, and then a place setting. And I bought a second one. I know, perished the thought, right? Because I thought actually that I was going to have that for my wedding. We thought that would be cool, but we left them boxed up and in their shrink wrap. But those are my picks of the week. Carcass.
Okay, before we end, you got a question about Frank Marino right there.
Oh,
is Frank from Australia?
No, Frank is Canadian.
Yep, Frank is Canadian. That's correct.
Yep, and we love him for it.
You're getting lots of comments. People liking your Carcass stuff there, and Exodus.
Right on. So those are my picks of the week: Frank Marino, Mahogany Rush 4, and Carcass Torn Arteries. And I have to thank my wife for that, because we were sitting around and I said, "Can you think of a record that that I should tout on the Metal Roundtable, and we started talking about the place setting thing. So yeah, that's what tipped me. So shout out to Steph, Queen of the Crypt.
Well, let's get into our topics today. We're not really showing vinyl or CDs or anything today. We're just going to talk topics. But first, let's talk about the unexpected announcement from Rush that was announced yesterday.
Let me answer one question that 666 Raystar said. Have I heard of Black Star? Yes, I have. Members of Carcass, more of a rock and roll feel. Along the line of Carcass Country and some of the other side projects, but I like Black Star. It's different.
Oh, look what we have here. Shannon Fry for the mighty Avenger of Blood.
Of course. But
I love saying that. I don't know why. Right on. Well, what do you guys think of the Rush reunion announcement? Obviously without Neil Peart or Pert, whatever you're supposed to say it.
Steve doesn't care.
I mean, people seem like they're all in uproar about it. How can they do a tour without Neil Peart? That's what I keep seeing all over online. And I'm like,
I don't know. They did their first tour without Neil Peart.
Yeah, and
they did a bunch of tours without Neil Peart.
But I mean, he's gone.
I will say at least it's not Mike Portnoy filling in, because he seems to be the fill-in for everybody now. But
well, I thought that was the natural transition because he's been in a ton of those types of tribute bands.
I just saw him with Dream Theater a couple weeks ago. So
I always thought eventually they were going to get back together with somebody, but I mean, are you guys surprised by the drummer?
Well,
I didn't even know who she was until
me either.
But she's really good.
Yeah,
I checked out some videos online. She's really good.
Yeah,
so I have no problem with it, but I didn't have any problem with Pantera doing it without either. Go for it. Why should the remaining members not be able to play their own music? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Did you hear the interaction between Geddy and Alex when they were just shooting the breeze, and they said, "Hey, you've been coming over to my house for all these years, and we're still writing music and we're still playing, and wouldn't it be cool if we just kind of kept doing it?" And I don't blame them. I mean, I don't think they had any real control, and trust me, I love Neil Peart. I that guy, top notch. I think he's one of my favorite drummers of all times, and something that Lee Russell from 128 dB Rock said. He said, "I'm more about the music than I am about the members making the music," and that may sound a little callous, but I don't know.
I've also been hearing this a lot too. It's just a money thing. It's just a money grab.
But they're only doing 7 shows. I mean, as a trip.
2 of them in Fort Worth. Thank you very much. I don't know how we got that honor.
Yeah, the stupid thing about that argument, though, is all these guys have done for 50 years is tour. I mean, that's their whole job, So, people still want to see them. They still want to tour. Who cares,
Yeah, I haven't seen the prices yet, but that's the other thing is people were saying the prices are going to be through the roof. But
and I've talked to a lot of people that said I never got a chance to see them. So
it's like Led Zeppelin. If Led Zeppelin did a final tour with Jason on drums, I'd pay quite a lot of money to go see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was fortunate. I got to see Rush with the first drummer, John Rutsey. And then he left, of course, because of some health issues. And then the year after, I got to see Neil Peart. But he didn't have the whole, the big drum setup like he had back in the later days. It was just more of a simplicated drum setup.
My buddy John likes to call him the backup drummer, the replacement drummer.
Yep. What Metal Ben said, people will complain, but still dish out the money to see him. You're right. They will.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Blackmore Rule said he saw him on the All World's stage tour with Max Webster. Man, that was a great pairing.
That's the first time I ever saw him on the All the World's stage. Well, it's basically 2112, but and Angel was the sandwich. Max Webster and Rush were the bread, and Angel was the meat or the peanut butter and jelly. But,
right on.
The 2 guys that called me old timer. Anyway, I saw both shows up in Fargo at the Fargo Civic Center back, I think was 73, 72, right in that area, back-to-back years. So, yeah, it's kind of a rarity.
Well, and why doesn't anybody complain that, Metallica's that's not the original band. I mean, what about Ron McGovney and Dave Mustaine? And they've had a revolving door too. Now they've been solid for a couple of years now, but well,
it's like everybody lost their mind that Blaze Bayley took over for Iron Maiden.
Yeah,
he was like the 5th singer for Iron Maiden.
Right. I think people get crazy because they get out of their comfort zone, and then they start to complain, whether it be because people don't act a certain way, at the shows or whatever. Like the Karate in the Pit thing drives me insane. I mean, back in even in the Bay Area thrash days, when that was, when the entire dance floor looked like the permapress cycle in your washing machine, you never saw anybody.
Saxon's a great example too. This is the only original member of Saxon.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think people get out of their comfort zone and they just lose their minds about it. And whatever.
Shannon Fry said they shouldn't play as Rush. I disagree.
But they're doing what they're doing. It's going to be more like what everybody was mad about Kiss too. But what Kiss was doing was more a tribute to the '70s than actually being a new band putting out stuff. And I think that's more what they're looking at too.
Yep, there's another one. Scorpions is another band that has revolving door musicians over the years. And
who's the only original member left?
Rudolph.
Klaus?
Or Klaus? Yeah, sorry.
It's probably Klaus.
I mean, but yeah, I don't. Well, I hear
goes way back, even farther than 50 years with the Scorpions.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got this question just popped up, so we might as well move on since we pretty much all agree on the Rush thing. I kind of figured we would, and it wouldn't be a big discussion, but I say more power to him, man. If I had the chance to go see him, I'd probably go see him.
One more thing about that, Napalm Death, one of my favorite bands, live or otherwise, they don't have any original members. Not one.
Yep.
So, but they've been that crew for. I mean, it's been Barney and Shane and Mitch Harris for long enough, I guess, where nobody knows.
Pantera has no original members either.
Yeah, no. Now that I think,
yeah,
I mean, was Rex the original bass player?
I don't think so. I think
Rex
he came out on like the 3rd or 4th record.
Huh.
We'll have to look on that. I'm not sure now that I think about it. I forgot about Rex.
Yeah, you might be right about that.
But Phil came on the 4th record, or was it the 3rd? I think it was the 4th.
He came on the 4th. Phil did.
Yeah.
But imagine Megadeth without Dave Mustaine.
Is different because Dave is the only. I mean, he's the writer of every single thing they've ever released. So,
I mean, he's the hired. Everyone else is hired guns.
Yeah,
it's Mustaine, and I got to go do a tour. So who do I get?
Yep.
But
he's always been like
Rex,
that.
Death was a lot like that too. Chuck would, Chuck had a band with Terry Butler and Bill Andrews. And then whoever could play the stuff on rhythm, but then he did stuff with Sean Reinhart and Gene Hoglan, and I mean, nobody complained that he was changing, for Symbolic or Human or.
And technically, Judas Priest doesn't have any original members either.
Well, Ian Hill's been there since day one.
No, he was part of the. He came.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
he came with Glenn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So I think people are losing. There's enough context here to where we can say, hey, if Annika can play the songs, I could care less. I mean,
except this era of Accept is some of the best stuff Accept has put out since the early '80s, and they've only got one. What's the guitar player's name? I'm drawing a blank right now.
Wolf Hoffman.
Yeah, Wolf is he's been the only original member for a decade now. So.
Yeah. And therefore, now some of the best music they've ever put out, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
We should definitely bring that up in the segment after we talk about the next. What does everybody think of the new Megadeth song?
I think it rips.
I liked it a
lot. I thought it was
One thing I like
fantastic.
about Megadeth is you could plug this into one of the 90s albums and it would still fit. His writing style is the same as it was in the 80s and 90s. It's still straight up old school thrash.
Yeah, I agree.
His delivery is still the same that it's been for 20 years. And that's what I like. I mean, other than what's the one with Risk. Other than Risk, I don't think they've put out a bad album.
Well, so here's a comment for Shannon. What do you guys think of that? Accept has blown for the last 3 albums.
I think the last two are not as strong as prior 3 though. When they got Mark in the band, I think those first 3 albums are phenomenal albums.
I like the last couple. That one behind you, Blind Rage. I think that was one of my favorite albums the year that came out. I played that nonstop. I still pull that out from time to time.
I still said some of them.
George said the new Megadeth track is tight. Sounds like from Rust in Peace, and that's kind of what I heard too. Was that kind of?
No, it sounds like late '80s. I thought it was really good.
And so far we've had nobody say anything else in that. But everybody is agreeing with us on the Accept, and Udo's been putting out great music in my opinion. Yeah. But we've only had one person who said differently. That's our buddy Shannon, who's not afraid to let his opinion be known. Which is not nothing wrong with that. But I like him. So, but then again, people say I'm an idiot because I think the new Dark Angel is not the trash everybody keeps saying it is, but. Whatever.
I haven't listened to it yet. The only reason I listened to the Megadeth today is because I knew we were going to talk about it. Usually, I won't listen to it till I get the album.
That's kind of the way I am too. But I got for the Dark Angel in particular, I got the MP3 version from the label because you got it for free when you bought the album. Yeah. So I was like, I'll give it a listen through once. And Ron, of course, you guys know Ron is a very close friend of mine, and he was like, "What do you think of it?" So I had to listen to it at least once, so I knew what I was talking about. So, but I listened to it on my crappy phone speaker, so the sound quality is pretty bad. But I really want to hear it on my turntable through my system, so that's kind of what I'm waiting for.
I didn't mind it when I heard it. I thought it was an okay album. I mean, yeah, it's not 30 years ago or whatever, but.
Well, I listened to it purposefully on the new AdCom system in the record room, and it has Bluetooth capability, and yes, I streamed the song off my phone, and it was a crusher. I thought it was. I stopped what I was doing and turned and just listened because it wasn't just background noise at that point. I mean, from the very first riff.
I'm the last person to add about Dark Angel because I think their first record before any of those guys were in the band, another band with no original members. I think their first record is my favorite thing that they ever released, but I like the other stuff too. I haven't listened to the new song though yet.
So is Dave gonna just go out on his shield, and then is he just like tired of the Metallica versus Megadeth comparisons, or you think he's just trying to?
No, I think he's just done. He said he's just done writing, or he's just done doing albums. I think he'll still do shows here and there.
Yeah. By the way, there is one original member still left in Dark Angel. Eric Myers, the original guitar player. Yeah, he's been on every. He's one of the original founding members of the band. Okay. But yeah, we're getting a lot of people. Tipping Point is awesome. I agree. I think Tipping Point was great. We're kind of getting different. We're getting Accept in here too, but. Megadeth has been very mediocre compositionally wise. Basic riffs, predictable solos, forgettable.
But DEFCON 66 is the same guy that said we all agree that Slipknot sucks, and I, of course, have to agree with that. So, you know what though, the problem with bands stretching their legs a little too far is that they wind up being Metallica, and they just end up being too long and boring and whatever. And I don't mind the tight structure and the thrashy riffs of the Megadeth. I can't wait to hear the whole record, the whole Megadeth record.
Yeah, same here.
Plus, it sonically sounds
be a good album.
Metal Ben said he likes the new Dark Angel. That he's actually only the first person I think outside of me and you guys that have actually said anything good about it.
I haven't, like I said, I haven't heard it yet, so I have no.
Dark Angel has always been an acquired sound.
Well,
Yeah,
they went more progressive. I mean, that's right around the time Gene went from that to Death, or did he do Death first? So I mean, they were everything he was doing was really progressive at that point, and then he went to Devin Townsend, which was super progressive too. So
yeah. I mean, we can just continue this conversation because basically we're now talking about legacy bands like Accept and Megadeth, and there was a video that we all watched from a VC guy, and please understand we're not putting down this VC guy. He's more than welcome to his opinion, and I respect him for his opinion. But basically, he was putting down, saying that these legacy bands and the mass marketing for all these big legacy bands, Megadeth, Testament, Metallica, Halloween, were some of the bands that he listed, are based. What this? He said they're ruining metal. That's what he said. And you guys, by buying their garbage, are ruining metal. And he said a lot more than that, but that's basically the premise. So we're kind of wanting to talk about the legacy bands and the new music, and not just the music, but also how they're marketing this stuff these days.
it's hard to say that the guys that created metal are ruining metal, but I mean, Halloween helped create power metal.
Power metal, yeah.
Metallica was instrumental in the and Dave Mustaine instrumental in thrash metal.
I think that the Metallica gets so much goodwill from the first 3 albums.
Oh yeah.
That they could, and they literally bought into the fact that they could do anything they want and it'll sell. And I harken back, and I wish I still had that hype sticker. I've been filing stuff away, but the little cut sheet for Saint Anger said it was the heaviest, fastest Metallica since Kill 'Em All. Now just let that sink in. That's how it was.
That?
That's how Saint Anger was marketed by the record company. And I thought, okay, now that's corporate schlock right there. So this fellow overseas that was disparaging about the corporate idea behind. I would then at that point I would totally agree, because I felt. But
of the bands he listed, he showed Testament, Accept,
Dark Angel.
I mean, these aren't corporate bands that make millions of dollars. These records are going to sell a few thousand, maybe 10, 15,000 copies at the most.
And in my opinion, they're not really on a corporate label. They're just on, in my opinion, bigger metal labels. They're totally
not just that. Most bands these days, the labels don't pay for the records like they used to. The bands record the records themselves. They write them themselves. And then the label releases it for them. It's not like the old days where they were getting big. Metallica still gets that, but most even the big, like we were talking about this before, Overkill was one of the big thrash bands in the 80s, and I think their last album sold like 3,000 copies the first week. That's nothing. I mean, they were going gold back in the day.
Well, I remember a time when Death was. Released Scream Bloody Gore, and then what is it? Spiritual Healing and Leprosy, and they all of a sudden that Death themselves were outselling every other band combined in their genre at one point in time. So these weren't big. You're right; these were not big numbers. But then you have the enigma like Insect Warfare. Earache did 10 pressings of 1,000 of. World Termination, and whoever would have thought that Insect Warfare would sell 10,000 units of anything? But that's just because they had somebody that was willing to walk the plank financially with hopes that they could sell, that people would buy into it. But that didn't come without heavy touring and doing interviews and a lot of posting flyers on posts and handing out. Man, when I used to road trip to California, especially in the Bay Area, I'd have a pocket full. It looked like a second wallet of flyers of bands were like, come, please see, please come see us. We're playing tomorrow night at this, whatever, at the Stone, the Omni, the whatever. And bands to us, and Scott and I were talking about this about Creeper, who's about to drop a record there on Halloween at the end of the month. and he was just shaking his head going, man, these guys are just always out promoting themselves and promoting their record. And the thing is because they want to succeed, they want people to hear the music, and that looks really cool. By the way, Scott and I sort of collaborated on making that look even better than it did when we first got it, so that really did turn out nice. But
yeah, George, I do get the 20 variants thing, but if you look at those, a lot of them are like you mentioned, they're variants for indie stores, and they're doing like 150 of them, 250 of them. I mean, that's the market wants that. The fans want that, you know.
It just piques interest.
When I was working actively, I would buy a lot of the variants. In fact, Haunt is one band where I'd buy all the variants because of one of my favorite bands. And I don't do that with every band. You know, it's just, I think he's just singling out too many bands like that. You know, I mean, yeah, the colors are nice, but nowadays I'll only take one color, and if it's black, it'll be black, you know.
Did you see what Brandon Baddock said from the Disturbing the Priest podcast? We had him on last week. The best thing Metallica ever put out was Megadeth.
Yeah. I was talking about this with somebody the other night. Who was it? Anthrax guitar player. Man, I can't get no names out. Scott Ian did an interview not too long ago where he was like, people like to talk trash about Mustaine, but there would be no thrash without Mustaine. He's the one that created that guitar style. And he was like, we don't give him enough credit for it, you know? So that's somebody that's outside of the loop.
He's actually a great musician.
Yeah.
And I've had, you know what? I can only go on personal experience. I've interacted him in close proximity 3 times. One time was one of those, you know, what do they call that? Like the fan package where you get to, you know, stand there and take a picture. And the other 2 were actually working the show. And all 3 times he seemed like a nice enough guy.
We used to run into him and Marty him and Marty both lived in Phoenix for more than a decade, and we used to run into them both pretty regularly, and they were always really cool. They'd hang out, take pictures with people, signed, you know, people came up to them. They were both always nice to everybody. I don't have them anymore. I used to have a picture with Dave in front of like a Long Wong's, which was a wings place in Phoenix.
I think nobody is really a nice person when they're on drugs or drunk out of their mind. And
well, this was during the drug era, you know. This was the 90s when he was on heroin, and he was still always nice when we ran into him.
Yeah, so I don't know.
He may not have been high at that moment, but
yeah, lots of sour grapes, I think, with the Metallica split. But you know, if you read the book, it's pretty crappy what happened.
Well, and not just that, Kerry King talked about it, and the videos are out there. Kerry King had a great interview where he was like, the reason he got kicked out is because he was leading the band up on stage. He was the one talking. It wasn't
James.
Wasn't James. He was the one hyping up the crowd. He was the one that the fans were getting into. And Kerry said that's the reason he was kicked out of the band. And if you go watch videos of Metallica from then, it is him that's talking in between the songs. It is him that's hyping up the crowd. So, you know, he had a great comment, though. His comment was the best. He's like, how do a bunch of drunks kick a guy out of the band for being drunk?
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Well, whatever. We're not here to tout. We're not here to tout Dave Mustaine, although I think what he's doing now it might be some of his best stuff.
Well, and the thing with it, their band is one of the few bands. I love Testament. Their last couple albums aren't near as good as their stuff from back in the day. You know, Exodus, the last couple Exodus albums, I've liked them. They're not as good as the stuff back in the day. The last couple Megadeth albums have been killer. I've loved them. And like I said, you could plug this song into their late 80s, early 90s albums.
I don't know. I thought this was a pretty good damn album.
Yeah,
I do. I like it. Don't get me wrong. I do like it, but
yeah, but it's hard to overcome nostalgia for the albums that you grew up with too. You know, I mean,
yeah. And talking about bands screwing up, they kicked what's his name out? Zetro? Is it Zetro?
Yeah, they kicked Zetro out
band again and brought back. Yeah,
a guy nobody liked.
I think a
don't know
lot
what
of
Gary's
fans,
doing with that
their
right
mind is so instilled into the old days that they don't like to get away from it. So new stuff from these older bands is kind of like, what? They don't care.
Well, one of the things the guy was saying in the video was that he was saying that all these legacy bands have sold their souls to these labels like what is it called? I keep wanting to say Napalm
Earache
Death.
and Century
Yeah.
Media, Nuclear Blast, and
Nuclear Blast. So he's like, they've sold their. He goes, and all the artwork, he goes, was probably created years ago and forced on them by these labels. And then he goes, Persona non grata. He goes, that's not even probably the name of the album that the band wanted. They probably had this picture and they were like, this is going to be the name of your new album.
Here's
That's
the
the kind of
problem
stuff
with
he was
that
saying in this video.
argument.
Well,
Labels
it's false, but
labels tend to use the same couple guys to do their mastering, as you know, Scott. They use the same couple guys to do their artwork. Plus, bands follow trends. If a certain style of artwork is popular, bands will use similar kind of artwork. I don't even think it's that similar. But
I remember a time where that very thing was true. I mean, Century Media, everything that came out on Century Media looked pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Maybe a different color.
But there was the same way back in think about the 80s, man, the Metal Blade stuff.
Well, and back in the
A
80s,
lot of it
they
looked the
did
same.
force this. I mean, if you go back and watch Year and a Half of the Life of Metallica, the label had a whole department that would create the artwork and show it to the band, but the band didn't have a whole lot of say in what the artwork was back then.
Yeah,
but a lot of the labels have a couple of artists that they go to because they have deals with them where they'll do the artwork for a good deal. The labels aren't going to pay $10,000 for cover art. You know what I mean?
No, I can speak to that because I've done 3 dozen covers for metal bands, and I don't make thousands and tens of thousands of dollars and more, and for the most part, it's just for the love of music. Yeah, let me help you. Let me help market you. That when I was basically the 6th member of War Beast, and that's a quote from Bruce Corbett himself. He wanted to establish some sort of a mascot, like Vic Rattlehead or the War Pig or Eddie or whatever. And so we did that, and we played off of that. But man, I wasn't making thousands of dollars. I was just doing it for the love of the band and try to help my friends.
It's not just that. There's not a whole lot of metal artists out there. The reason Repka's got so many album covers, even today, he's still putting out album covers every couple of months, is because he's one of the best metal artists out there, and he can get together quick and get it done for, a few $100, however much he charges. I'm sure he charges more than that, but.
Well, guys like Mark Riddick and Sawblade and Andre, he did
the new Harrison album coming out in January. That's
but I know Riddick doesn't charge. I think for a T-shirt design he charges $200. For an album cover design he charges $400.
Yeah,
but it's probably going to be black and white, and it's whatever.
And honestly, as a metal guy, who do you want to go to do your artwork? You want to go to Carcass John, or you want to go to Ed Repka, or you want to go? There's only a couple guys you want doing your artwork.
I don't think the same people, the same corporate entity that was doing Pink Floyd and Zeppelin covers in the past is going to do touch anything metal.
But if you look at the video the guy did, he had the new Testament cover up there, and he was saying, look at how all these covers have the same colors. You think that's by accident? No, that's intentional. And then I noticed the people chiming in is that's all AI covers, and I'm like, I know some of that stuff is not AI covers.
Yeah, let Scott talk about the AI covers, because he's had to deal with that with a couple of bands.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of AI. Not a fan of it.
I'm not a fan of AI either, but you're going to have to deal with it, like it or not. That's just the way it is. I mean, it's not going away. It is what it is. So you can either use it to your advantage or you can ignore it. Go ahead. What?
I was going to say, I've actually had people ask me what program I use. And when I tell them Carcass John's right hand, they go fondling on their phone looking for Microsoft to try and. I said, no, I actually draw things with a pencil out on paper, and then I do an overlay. When I was tattooing for a while, it changed the way I drew. I would sketch something out, and then I would do fine lines with an overlay. And then whether I shade or use pixels or whatever, I mean, it just depended on what I was doing. But there is no substitute for hand drawing. I mean, and yes, can you just? But there are limitations to AI. In fact, that creeper cover, we ran into some limitations with it, and I've worked with Matt on several other. We've collaborated on some things, and there are some things that I had to draw first for him to take in and then expand upon it. So it's, AI isn't the end all, but and it may eventually be. I don't know, but that's why I still hoard erasers and paper and pencil leads and
Well,
mechanical
even if you're doing
pencils.
digital artwork and you're using Photoshop and you're using paintbrushes in Photoshop, which is the way I create things in Photoshop, because I've been using Photoshop for since it's been a program. Like this is an example. So this is a Fear Not cover. All that background that you see back there, the smoke, the desolate buildings, the ground, I created all that in Photoshop using paintbrushes in Photoshop. Every single thing you see on there is that, except for the guy in the front. So now how I usually do things is I'll use a model. I can't reach them, but I've got several albums I worked on up here where I've used my son or my daughter-in-law or my granddaughter as a model. Well, I couldn't find a model, and I couldn't find a picture that I was looking for of a muscular guy leaning down the ground like that. So I'm like, well, let's try the AI thing. So I went into AI and I said, create me a black and white photo of a guy, of a muscular guy down on his knees. And it created me a bunch of crap that I didn't want. But I finally got to this guy in black and white. And then I took him in, brought him into Photoshop and used all the paintbrushes and colored it all in. So you see all the little yellow highlights from this here, all the blue highlights on the other side. I had to go in and put all that in, and I painted all that in. So you can use AI to your advantage if you want it. What's the difference between using AI to create a fake picture of a guy, muscle builder guy, or using a real picture of a muscle builder guy to use it? There's not. My problem with AI is a lot of these bands are going in and they're creating their entire album cover in AI.
Yeah.
And it's garbage. You got 3-fingered people. You've got another band. I'm not going to mention them because I don't want to put them down at all. Another band I work with used AI to create a skeleton-looking creature, and the skeleton creature had a row of teeth here, another row of teeth here, and another row of teeth here.
Was that on Iron? Did you say Iron Jaw?
No, I said I wasn't saying the name of the band because I didn't want to embarrass them.
Oh, sorry.
So no big deal.
Fraser mentioned Gamacide. I'm going to see Gamacide. They're going to be here on Monday, I believe, here in Atlanta.
Man,
but yeah, there's some really you can tell when a cover is all AI.
Well, and I don't have so much problem with the AI art, but when the music becomes AI, then I
have a problem with it. I have a problem with it when the art is all AI, but I also have a problem. But you also, like, I read that Motley Crue's last album was mostly created using AI. The songwriting was
the album. The video was created using AI. And it looks terrible.
And you can see it's flooded. YouTube is flooded with AI music. You can usually see it and tell which one is good and which isn't good.
And the new Dark Angel album cover is not AI. Everybody keeps saying that. That's bullshit. It's not true. An artist was hired and an artist created it. So yeah, say what you want. It wasn't created in AI. The band never claimed that. It's just fans claiming that because they wanted an old painting that looked like their 80s stuff, and that's not what they got.
I do like that new Megadeth album cover though, where it's just a white background with what's his name on the front?
Yeah.
Oh, but just don't forget, because Scott will tell you, you can get the black background too.
Mm-hmm. And that was one of the points that the guy was making in his second part of his video was, look at all these different variants of things and people are going to buy it. You guys are ruining metal. I said, I don't understand how you're ruining metal by buying things that you like. And then he kind of claims, well, you don't really like it. You're just buying it because it is who it is. Who cares why I'm buying it? As long as I'm buying it and listening to it, what's the difference?
Or else you bought the album and then
Brother Lee
told a friend, and then the following week you went and bought the cassette. So, I mean, what's the big deal? You're supporting the band.
I don't have a problem with it. In fact, I want choices. I dig the colored variants. I like the idea that I can get an alternate cover, whether the background's black or white. I'll probably buy them both. And, because that's my choice.
You're right. It depends on the band for me. I'm sure same for all of us. Your favorite bands, if if it's one of your favorite bands and you're like, here's 2 different album covers for the same album, well, I'm gonna buy. If it's an Aerosmith record, I'm gonna buy it because I'm an Aerosmith fanatic. You know what I mean? Why is that wrong? Why is that bad? What is so wrong about that?
I don't know. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, honestly.
So was there anything in those videos that you guys watched that you agreed with?
I think in principle, I agree when, like I said, when they were touting Saint Anger as the fastest, heaviest Metallica ever released, as heavy, nothing's been this heavy or fast since, Kill 'Em All. That's just a bald-faced lie. That's false advertising.
Well, with Metallica, you are talking about a corporate entity. Not only is Metallica a corporate entity, their label is too. Whereas.
Well, and I realize
these other bands that he mentioned, none of them are corporate bands. Not a single one of them, actually, that he mentioned.
Hey, well, because he actually mentioned Testament. I mean, as being one of them. Well, they, because they're on Nuclear Blast or.
But what makes you a corporate band?
The fact that you're on a label, that they're paying you stuff that I see. That's what I don't understand, and I think he's wrong about a lot of that stuff because, for a fact, I know from working with, the labels that I work for, and then. Also working for labels like Century Media and Metal Blade, and
you dealt with, didn't you deal with Nuclear Blast back in the day? Didn't they offer it? Wasn't that one of the labels that tried to sign you back in the day?
No, it wasn't Nuclear Blast. It was what was Joe Satriani's label?
Oh, Relativity.
Relativity. We had and I still have the contract. We got a contract offer from Relativity,
and those have never been. Even now, those aren't big labels.
No. I mean, Sony CBS, big label. Yeah. Epic Records, big label. Capitol Records, big label.
I mean, they feel like they're big labels because we know so many metal bands that they release records for, but they're not big labels. Most of those labels work out of they have a few employees now. It's not even in their heyday. They might have had 30 or 40 employees. They don't have that anymore.
But look what Sony CBS did when they bought the Combat label. That Combat was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And you could almost guarantee that whatever you bought on Combat Records was going to be a ripper. Sony CBS bought it out. They fired every band on there, including Exodus, including all those bands, and Devastation. And then they kept one band, Cyclone Temple. They did one more record, and then they punted them too. They just bought the competition. I mean,
they want to get rid of the competition, and they want the catalog. I mean, that's why they buy those labels.
MCA did the same thing. They formed Mechanic Records. They signed Wrathchild America, Violence, and somebody else, and then basically told Violence they needed to change how Sean sings, and let's wear these silver tuxedos and top hats for a promo picture. What?
All they do is scoop them up and spit them out.
That's another show I can't wait for. Violence will be here in January, I think. I'm really looking forward to that show.
But a lot of these bands nowadays, bands, even bands that were the second wave, let's say thrash metal, a lot of those bands are on a lot of independent labels, and even some of them are back in them early days are a little bit bigger now, but even bands nowadays are putting out independent releases. I mean, so they're going their own route.
Well, Metallica now, like as was pointed out in the comments, they own their own record label. They own their own pressing plant. They just do it themselves now, which is fine. It just cuts out the middleman. But does it make it any better? No, because they're making money, not music.
It's like this. This is a self-release by the band. I mean, no label.
Well, and a lot of we've had Corey and Johnny from Seether on here. And that's a huge band that's on a major label. The label doesn't do anything for them other than release their stuff. They record all their albums at their home studios now.
That's the way most music is recorded for labels these days.
It's not like the old days. The money they're making is from touring and from a little bit of album sales.
But I can say that
Dark Angel bands. Seether's a good example. They still love off their albums from the late 90s and early 2000s. That's where all their money comes from. It's not from the stuff they release now.
Right. But I can say that Dark Angel's album wasn't recorded all in someone's bedroom on a computer. They actually all flew out and recorded in a studio in Canada, actually.
Yeah.
So I know that for a fact because I got calls from Ron when he was at the studio. Dude, you got to hear this.
Yeah.
And
So
I
I mean,
think
the whole metal land, especially the metal labels, has completely changed. There's nothing corporate about any of it.
no, and the way most of the labels that I know work now, I mean, other than the big, big labels, I'm not talking Atlantic here. I'm talking Metal Blade and Century Media, and even the smaller labels. The bands record their music themselves, and then the labels put it out and get it into distribution so people can buy it.
Well, here's the bottom line. It doesn't matter if they have 1 or 50 variants. Doesn't matter. If it's available and you want to buy it, go ahead. If you don't want to buy it, if you think it sucks or you don't like it, don't buy it.
So Metal Blade has 70 employees worldwide. Not much of a corporation.
No.
And the other thing, the one thing I can say that I did agree with him on is he talked a bit about the fact that a lot of the digital recording these days, the guitar tones and the productions have all begun to sound very samey, very. Some of these bands have lost that. Like you back in the 70s, man, you heard a Brian May guitar riff. It didn't matter what the riff was. You knew that was Brian May because he had that unique guitar sound,
the signature sound. Yeah, that's
right.
One the problem is nowadays they're all using DSPs. They're all using effects. They're not using actual guitar amps anymore. They're not using the Marshall half stacks anymore like they were better. The
full stuff.
What was the other one that was real big in the 90s? The Mesa Boogies. They're not using that stuff anymore. They're using modeling amps now, and you can hear it.
Boogie, PV, and Marshall were the amps everybody was using back then. Those 5150, it was a 5150 PV amps. A lot of people were recording with those.
But everybody back in the day had their own settings. There might be 1 or 2 analog pedals that they were using, but everybody had their own little settings and stuff.
But that's the thing is with the technology today, you can punch up guitar sound number 705, and then you're always going to sound that way. And if you want to, in fact, I remember when they first came out on some of these effects racks that you could say, I want to sound like Dimebag, and then you'd hit a button, and all of a sudden you had that thick triple, quadruple layered guitar sound or whatever. But that's why the live experience is still king, because you want to hear what they play through. You know what I mean? I just Charlie Belmore just got off the Josta Life of Agony tour, and I love this that he and Nick Petrino still plug in and still rip it as loud as they can, as loud as the sound man will let them. And like when we drove to Tulsa to see Creeper, those guys still plug in, and they
that's
don't.
One difference. So Mustaine is real good about this, because Mustaine, as soon as I hear a guitar riff, I know it's Mustaine. When that song kicked, what's the new song called?
Tipping Point.
Tipping Point.
When Tipping Point kicks off, it's Mustaine from that first riff. I will say, for instance, the newest Judas Priest album. I love Judas Priest. They're one of my all-time favorites. That newest album, it doesn't sound like Judas Priest. It does when Rob kicks in, but their guitar tone, you used to know it was them right away just from the guitar tone, and that's not there anymore.
But think about the plethora, just the glut of bands that are now playing.
Yeah.
You can't continue to reinvent the wheel. I mean, when I was a kid, when I bought my first record and heard Deep Purple, and this shout out to Blackmore Rules. When I heard Richie Blackmore start off with Smoke on the Water, and you knew it was Richie Blackmore. I mean, we had a handful of bands that we idolized and worshiped and had access to.
Yeah.
Now you have, I mean, look at Encyclopedia Metallium and tell me how many bands are there on that, past, present, and soon to be future.
Not just that, there's some band names where there's 30 bands with the same name.
Right. Aggression is one of them. Aggression, Aggressor, Annihilator. I mean, we have Annihilator here in Texas. Now it's the Spanish spelling, and they're a different band, but I used to be confused by that.
We were just talking about the band. It's at Warlord. There's like just new wave of British heavy metal bands. There's like 15 different Warlords. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah. But I just I don't know. I that was the one of the points I agree with him on, is that it still sounds samey. But I don't have to have an album blow me away to enjoy the album though. And sometimes a new album, it might take a listen or two before I can really get into it. But if I can't listen to it like once and I'm like, this album sucks, never play it again.
Accept is a great example. I didn't like the newest Accept. I thought it was okay when I first heard it.
That's the same with me, but the more I listened to it, the more I liked it.
Really digging it, and I still pull that one out pretty regularly.
Well, to me, it's like when I first heard the new Primal Fear, Domination. It really didn't grab me all that much. I guess I was expecting stuff like the other album, but it's still Primal Fear, but it's a little bit different,
Here's an album that'll grab you.
Dust, yeah.
We got up yesterday at first pressing.
That's
but
awesome.
Anyway, it took a little while for that to really, now it's starting to grab me a little bit more. So, just because you listen to it once doesn't mean it's not a bad time.
I think music has become so secondary, not like when we were kids, where like I used to load my backpack up right over on my Stingray to my friend's house because his dad, who came back from overseas, had this gigantic Pioneer system. And that was the go-to place, and he taught his son how to put on a record on the turntable without breaking something. And 4 or 5 or 6 of us would sit around and we'd play side one. We'd critique it. I mean, it was a commitment to sit down and listen to music. I think music has just become so much background noise or something we plug in when we're on our way to work or whatever, and our minds are just not focused on it as much. And I think the enjoyment of music, that's why Kevin, to your point, I think sometimes we get a new record and we're like, oh, this just doesn't grab me. But then when you sit and let it kind of stew in your juices a little bit, you go, wow, this really is good. I mean, Primal Fear has not put out a bad record, in my opinion, either. Some are better than others, but
the other issue is especially like us and probably half the people listening to us right now, we buy and listen to a lot of music. A lot. Whereas back in the day,
one genre,
I would buy a CD and it would be in my car CD player for months, and I knew every word, every riff to every song. And now there's just so much coming out, and I listen to so much. The last album I did that was not the newest Judas Priest, but the Judas Priest before that, because that sat in my car. I love that album so much. It sat in my car for like 3 months. That's all I listened to. And my wife hates that album now because it was in my car so much. But that's the way it was back in the day. I had girlfriends that hated certain albums because I played them so much,
Yep. I did that with the new Iron Jaw. I played it so many times I can sing along to every song on there.
Yeah.
From the old days to the new days, now there's so much, you have access to just about anything. We're back in the early days.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't have this. I mean, you had word of mouth or radio and, a few friends here and there, and that's what you did.
Hey, by the way, my Stingray, I had a gold Stingray with a tiger striped banana seat. Yes, I did. But no sissy bars for me. Go ahead.
Anyhow, I don't know. I actually enjoyed and laughed at his. Cause to me, it came off as kind of the rant that is fueling this whole discussion. I thought it was funny. I literally was laughing at him. I was like, "What's so funny?" I'm like, "You got to watch this video." And she's just watching. She's like, "I don't get it." And then and then he says something about me on there, and she's like, "Look, he just called your name out. Look at her." She was all mad. I'm like, "Who cares? It's funny." To me, it came off as like he literally came off like a grumpy old man. I don't like the way they do the new stuff anymore. They don't do the new stuff right. You guys don't do it right. And if you're not doing it like I do it, you shouldn't do it anymore.
The Queen would call that being a curmudgeon. And I'm like, why are you so, I mean, I get the passion. Okay. Cause I hate fake metal, and there are certain bands, as I've been very vocal about, that I just don't like. But like I told someone on that little group chat that we're on, if I don't like Danzig at all. I think they're stupid. But if you like them, that's great. I mean, fine, like them. Go right ahead. I'm not going to rub your face in it or disparage you for it or post something online. This guy likes Danzig. What a jerk. I mean, I'm not going to do that. I mean, why?
I love Danzig. Screw you. Nah.
Yeah. Okay. See? And
Well,
we
his
can still
rant
be friends.
isn't going to discourage me from buying. I mean,
I mean, we find common ground, and then we enjoy it together. That's
it's funny. Him talking trash about Scott wasn't even him talking trash about Scott. It was kind of funny what he actually said.
Yeah.
Because they were like, oh, they asked Scott what he thought, and he's like, it sounds like thrash.
well, he didn't.
Yeah, it
Well,
sounds like trash to me.
Once again,
Oh,
comment
that's a ringing endorsement, he said. I'm like, well, it does sound like thrash. I mean, what do you want it to sound like? Like techno? Yeah. Like house music? I mean, what are you looking for here, pal?
EDM?
But anyway.
Yep.
Whatever.
Did you guys just hear a strange voice pop in?
No.
No, okay, good. Then that was just my computer. Some people are asking about the video. I can tell you right, you can watch. I don't care if people watch the video. I just didn't want anybody to think we're putting this guy down or saying bad things about him, because I'm not at all. I've known the guy for, gosh, he's been on YouTube for 10 years, as long as I have, and Steve has, I'm sure.
Now, I do agree. One thing I do agree with that he talked about was the vinyl community on YouTube. It's turned into, there's a lot of people that are just making videos, to get free stuff and to get numbers and
I guess I'm not one of those then, because I don't get free stuff.
I've had somebody send me a song for the Crypt of the show I do on 128 dB Rock, but that's only
you know who I get free stuff from? I get it from you guys.
Yeah, from me.
And I sent you guys free stuff. We're not getting stuff from labels or something.
No, I know. I do agree that there's certain channels on there that they'll show all these records, but then when you listen to them, it doesn't sound like they actually know anything about the music. So I do get stuff like that. But
I get it too. But
generation now, compared to when we started, I mean, it's completely.
But what's the point of calling them out? What's the point of calling those? It's their label.
Yeah, I don't agree with calling them out by name.
Let them do what they want to do. I mean, if that's what they want to do, if that's what they, I mean, I know people who collect records. They don't even listen to the damn things. They keep them in plastic and they just collect them. Yeah. I think that's weird. I listen to my music. That's the reason I buy records.
What's even weirder, Scott? When I was still putting in a few hours over at County Line Records, we had a kid come in. He wanted a certain color of record of this release, and I said, well, what kind of turntable do you have? And he goes, I don't have a turntable. I said, what is that? I says, you play records on it. And he goes, what do you mean? He didn't even know. He just thought the colored vinyl looked so cool that he would hang it on the wall or whatever because it was colored. He didn't even know. And so I said, I tell you what, I'm going to pull this record out. And I'm going to stick it on. This is a turntable. And I played a record for him. And he was flabbergasted. I mean, as a 20-year-old kid, but so it doesn't nothing surprises me.
No, anymore. and I don't care if they're buying the record. Great, buy the record.
Either way, the artist, listen to it, do whatever you want, blow it up. I don't care.
Yeah,
to support the band.
Hey, and speaking of supporting the bands, Gamma Sight's hitting like 20 cities in the next couple of weeks. So if you're in one of those cities, go see them.
I'm fortunate enough to live in their hometown. And they're friends of mine. Rick and Scott have been friends a long time, and all the other band members too. And dude, they have not missed a step. You're stepping right back into 1990. They are shredding machines. So if you get a chance, just go. I know they're going to be in New York. They're going to be in Buffalo. They're going to be
they're
all up and down the East Coast.
Antonio, New Orleans, Charlotte, Chesapeake, Baltimore, Rochester, New Haven. They're all over the place,
dude. And they are worth every penny. That's thrash. If you
too bad they didn't take Iron Jaw with them.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah, and Rick would have had Rick and Randy would have, or no, Rick would have had done double duty. But
worth it.
We're talking about mid 50s to working on 60s. These guys,
they're not coming here either, Shannon. Unfortunately, nowhere near me.
They'll be heading the other direction soon. Don't worry about it.
Yep. Anyhow, all right. Well, we're done. That was an interesting discussion. We could have probably talked on it for hours, but gosh, you guys, you should have been here. You guys should have been watching us the 15 minutes we were talking before the show, because we were talking about Accuser and all kinds of fun stuff, and and then that's why I keep telling people, man, this show is just a bunch of guys talking metal, man. We so appreciate y'all watching and and commenting. And we do take your comments into consideration and bring them into our conversation. So we really appreciate it.
Some female band members on here too, so it's not just a bunch of guys talking about metal.
Yeah.
Look it up, John.
Okay. Hey,
John knows one, I think. Don't you know one? You know some girl who likes metal?
Yeah, I liked. She knows metal so much. I actually married her. And 666 Raystar asked me about where he could see some of my album artwork. Just get on my Instagram at Carcass John Art, and I've got a whole bunch of that thrown on there. And man, I've been doing it for the love of metal. And yeah, I get paid a little bit here and there, but in fact, I did some work for Harrison. They're about to drop a new record, and it absolutely shreds. I've been playing a couple of their songs on my radio show.
That's an Ed Replica cover too.
And yeah,
that's an Ed Replica cover too. Harrison's got a replica cover.
There you go. But
and then they've got the classic Metal Blade production team too on there.
Oh, with Bill Matoyer and
Bill Matoyer and yep.
So, I mean, to me, I've been fortunate enough to where I had a regular job where I actually made money to buy releases. And then when they needed artistic direction, I was able to give it to them at a cheap price. But yeah, check out my Instagram at Carcass John Art, and you can see kind of what banners around in my.
And buy the new Creeper album.
Logo.
It's so freaking fantastic. This album is so good.
Yeah,
it'll fit right in my collection. So,
yeah, it's fantastic. And these are not shipping yet. The release date's October 31st. They'll probably ship early to people. I got an advanced copy direct from the CD plant, so they sent me one just direct in the mail with some test pressings they were sending. But they will be shipping soon. So I'm looking. I can't wait to get the vinyl.
But have you heard anything about the vinyl?
It's going to be right before the release date, so it's going to be close. We knew that was going to be the case to get it done by October 31st, but the CDs are done, so CDs will probably ship early. But regardless, everything will hopefully be shipped by October 31st. Yeah, this Creeper is fantastic. I don't know if I like it better than the new Iron Jaw or not. I struggle. I love both those albums, but they're so different in style. You know, Iron Jaw is just old school heavy metal, Judas Priest inspired stuff. Creeper is kind of a mixture of thrash and some Pantera groove. Oh yeah. I love that album.
And you and I were talking about them before the show too. They're evolving into a more heavy, thrashy band too. But you know what? All those guys have been playing music for 20 plus years, and Jimmy and Paul Fritz. I mean, the fact that they're brothers, they sit in a room and they battle back and forth. It just really, man, they've got all the parts in place. That thing is really good. And it may not be your cup of tea, but production-wise, sound-wise, songwriting-wise, you will not be disappointed if you see Creeper live or buy the CD. It's just really good.
I know we got to go, and I just want you guys to give me a quick answer to this. I've been meaning to ask it the whole show. We just haven't been able to break through. But this is Bringer of Blood by 6 Feet Under. What are your thoughts? Do you like it? Dislike it?
I don't remember it.
I hadn't played it in forever. I pulled it out because I was listening to the first 2 albums, which I think are still their best.
My
albums.
favorite's the one with the what's the one with the
Warpath
cover?
Warpath,
that's my favorite album of theirs by far.
This here was a return to that sound, which is what I liked so much. Which is why I liked it so much. So anyhow, I was just curious if any of you guys liked it. I know everybody seems to hate 6 Feet Under. Well, I shouldn't say that. People either love them or hate them. There doesn't seem to be any middle ground with that band. So
yeah, like Barnes has one of those vocal styles. You either like it or you don't. You know.
Yeah, he likes to do that pig squeal thing, and there you go, right there. 666 Raystar. Terrible. I don't think it's a terrible album. I had to revisit it. It's been a long time, but I gave it a spin, and I listened to the first 2 albums. And I listened to the 2.
My favorite stuff from them is the covers albums because they pick the most off the wall songs that you wouldn't expect.
Oh yeah, I love the Graveyard Classics albums.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, the Graveyard Classics. I don't know if I should let this cat out of the bag, but it's coming out on vinyl with an exclusive bonus track of a Judas Priest song, nice. Ripper, I believe. I don't know, and this is where I'm saying I don't know if I'm letting the cat. I don't know if it's going to be a Record Store Day release or not, but it might be a Record Store Day release. It might not. So we'll see. Either way, I know it's coming out on vinyl because I've been working on that one, and I know there's a Judas Priest cover of Grinder on there, which is fantastic.
Well,
And they've done what, 3 of those, 4 of those?
They have
3 of them.
3.
Yeah.
The first one and the third one are different. Number 2 is the entire Back in Black album.
Okay.
I can't imagine anybody putting that one out on vinyl because
You'd have to pay for
like
it.
you got to pay up the wazoo for the licensing to AC/DC. Yeah, so yeah, everybody's saying that he quit smoking weed.
Okay.
It's probably killing him.
Probably has more lung capacity now, but whatever.
Even
Anyhow.
Willie quit smoking weed.
I think if Willie quits smoking weed and stops touring, he's just going to dissolve into the ground.
He said he quit. He had to quit smoking weed. He was having trouble breathing.
Oh, okay.
Hey Shannon, Shannon quickly? I know we got to go. So what did you think of this album? Because you'll be honest, you'll tell me you think it sucks or not. Yeah, the Grinder was definitely on one of their early EPs. That EP will probably never be reissued in any form because it's an EP, and that's what the song came off of. It's pretty much nobody even knows about that track. So I was psyched that they were like, let's put that on there. I'm like, heck yeah, that's a great cover song. So it's a great song to begin with. I love Grinder. Yeah, and I just think those covers albums are fun. So I actually, the label that's putting them out, I was talking to the label owner on the phone about him the other day, and he's like, I finally listened to those. I never heard them before. He goes, those albums are just a lot of fun. He goes, they just take these great songs and because it's almost funny. But anyhow, I'm sorry. I did want to ask that question, and we're way over once again. We could talk forever. All right, well, let's get into our exit stuff going on here. Let me find our things here, and I'll be right there. Hang on. I got to find everybody's banners. Okay, you can find Steve on YouTube at Harmless Rebel 868. You can also find him on Facebook and Instagram and all those other kind of places, either under Harmless Rebel or Steve Bodine.
Just don't look me up on Grinder.
Oh, you're not. You're on Grinder. Just don't look him up. I thought you were. I thought you had moved to OnlyFans.
I thought you were on that song still, but no. I
thought you moved on to OnlyFans.
Yeah, I'm not making much on there though.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. You can find Kevin on YouTube at Old Metal Rocker 66 temporarily until he changes to 67.
Out over at Metal Uprising on Facebook.
Yep. Yep, that's his Facebook group that's taken off in the last few months, which is it's a good group, a good metal group.
Go.
Yep.
I do want to say, go over to Metal Uprising, check out Keep It True best performance from Void. Phenomenal set.
Yep, I saw it. It was really good. You can find John on Instagram at Carcass John Art. You can also find John at
128 DB Rock in the Crypt and Carcass John's alter ego.
And then
download the free app. Download the free app, and you don't have to stay up till midnight to listen to the show. You can listen to it, I don't know, Tuesday morning, Wednesday afternoon, Thursday, whenever. You can listen to it after this if you have the app. But yeah, 128 DB Rock, 128db.com. You
can follow me on Instagram at No Life Till Metal. You can find me on YouTube at Scott Waters, No Life Till Metal. You can find me on Facebook. I'm easy to find. Just find me. And that's it. So we all appreciate. We had a lot of people watching today live and commenting. So I didn't get to all the comments. I apologize. I tried to keep up with them. A couple of people used language that I didn't think would be appropriate, so I left those off. And it wasn't even the cuss words; it was the calling things GAY that I left off. So I didn't want YouTube to take our videos down. So that's a trigger word on YouTube. So I didn't put that. That's why I didn't put those comments up. So sorry about that. But in any case, so anyhow, we always do it. So for episode number 283 of the Metal Roundtable, Metal will prevail.